Jeffrey.
Chelsea. When did 5 or 6 years go? My gosh.
We were in Visalia, California, doing was it Rhapsody in Blue we did?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, it's great to see you. It'll be great to have you. It'll be great to have you in Greensboro. Greensboro is my hometown. That's where I grew up, and my mom lives there, and my brother and sister. So they're very excited about this concert. Now, how many performances have you all done so far?
Of the Peter Boyer Rhapsody in Red, White, and Blue?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't count. Peter's really good at that. He keeps good count. It's in the 50s, I think.
Okay.
41 states. Every place is so different.
Sure.
Really different, yeah. We've done a lot. I still have that usual feeling of first night jitters with the piece. Not that I'm worried about it, but it always feels. Somebody said to me, "What's it like to play it so many times?" I said, "It's like when Yul Brynner once said." Somebody asked him, "What's it like to play the King and the King and I every night, every day for years and years?" He says, "Every time I go on stage, something new happens."
Yeah. And I think that's one of the exciting things about live performance. Regardless of how many times you do it, there's always some nuances. There's always some things that go better, some things that could go better. And that's kind of the excitement, I think, for the audience as well. And I think it says a lot about you as a performer that you want to bring something special each night. It's not just a routine type of project for you. It's special to see a piece like this, and I'm so glad it aligns so much with the America's 250th birthday celebration that we're celebrating as a country. How did this project come about? I mean, one of the things I've always admired about your career is that there's different ways to create a career. One is to be so good that people invite you to do things. The other is to create opportunities for yourself. And that's certainly been something that you have done throughout your career. And it's been exciting to see. How did this project come about?
It's so interesting. I always tell composers the first thing, this isn't about me. This isn't about you. And that sets the course for the project. And so we're all on the same page. And, the opportunities that come of the projects are just kind of the fallout of all the work that goes into it to get the new pieces out into the repertoire, but of course out to the public to hear. This one started, it was 2017 or so. I thought, Rhapsody in Blue will be 100 years old in 2024, which seemed like so far away. We didn't even have COVID, nothing. And then I waited till around November of 2019. And I started asking composers about the piece and everything, because I thought, everybody's going to play Rhapsody in Blue. Why should I just be another? Which is great. And I play the original piano version now, but that's aside from that. I wanted a living American composer to write a living American Rhapsody reflecting everything from Gershwin to now, and a brand new piece. And I came up with the title Rhapsody in Red, White, and Blue because there's really nothing about the American flag except the Star-Spangled Banner, You're a Grand Old Flag, hymns and songs, and then Dvorak's American Flag Cantata for chorus and orchestra from the 1890s. That's it. Can you imagine? That's it. And wow. So that became the title. And composers I went to before Peter said no. I kind of got it. I was like, I don't know if that's the right puzzle piece for this. I went to Peter. And I said, I want to do a project to commemorate the Rhapsody in Blue. I mean, the fact that America's 250th birthday was coming 2 years later didn't really affect anything I was doing at the time. It kind of evolved as a bookend to the project. And so he said no. And I said, why? And he said, because I don't want to be compared to Gershwin. I said, well, unfortunately, everybody's compared to something. And why not be Gershwin? Right? He says, well, because I've done so much that I don't want to kind of put a negative stamp on anything I'm doing, or people to say that, to think of me as less than Gershwin. I mean, that's happens. I said, first of all, remember what happened with Gershwin and Ravel. When George Gershwin went to meet Maurice Ravel, of course, Ravel asked him, "How much do you make? I hear you're great, you're successful." He tells him, and Ravel says to him, "Well, I should be studying with you. You're doing great." But what he said to Gershwin was very important. He says, even though Gershwin wanted to be a better orchestrator, and he was darn good for what he did, and on the American style of sound. And Ravel said, "Why don't you be a first-rate Gershwin and not a second-rate Ravel?" And I said to Peter, I hate to pull this rabbit out of the hat, but I'm going to because I have nothing else to convince you. Why don't you be a first-rate Boyer and not a second-rate Gershwin?
Nice.
I heard silence. That was going to kill it or make it. And he says, "Well, when you put it that way, let me think about it." You got to give composers time. It's like, this is a baby that they have to create, and you have to make sure it's right. And he said, "All right, I think I could do this." And I gave him space, and then COVID hit, and I started raising money, and I thought, well, I guess orchestras, we're not working. I can't ask orchestras to pay into this. So I'm going to have to go and hit the pavement and raise some money. So through foundations and personal connections with people to try to raise the money, ended up doing it, and then orchestras started signing, and we had over 24 states involved, and I was using social media to the max. Every time a state joined, it was out there. And that was the way we connected, because everybody was on social media. That's all we had. And we ended up having, by like the end of 2022, lots of orchestras and no premiere. I was starting to panic. So I went to the orchestra in Utah, and they were very receptive finally after saying, maybe we could open Deer Valley Summer Festival with this in 2023. And that's what ended up happening. And that, at least we had an anchor for the premiere, and then built it from there. And I thought, why not a 50-state project? And I started that actually right after Ellen Swillett's Millennium Fantasy in 2000. And I decided to do Concerto America by Charles Strauss, and I created the first 50-state project. And Boston Pops agreed to the premiere in 2002, Honolulu Symphony. I raised the money. First 50-state project without buy-ins. It was starting to open up. And then 9/11 happened. And I decided, bad timing. Can't do it now. Put it away. But Charles wrote it, got premiered, got good reviews, and I just left it at that. And during this process, I started to think, well, maybe there's a chance. And it's not like I did it. Like, it's kind of like it appeared and made itself present to say, it's time to do this again. And the timing is right, especially during the COVID, to say, if we survive, let's have some fun after. Let's try to rebuild using this theme. And we're celebrating Gershwin's centennial of Rhapsody in Blue in 2024. And then after the Utah premiere, Peter said to me in 2023, "Gee, wouldn't it be cool if we could record it with the London Symphony and put it out during the month of the Gershwin centennial?" And I looked at him, I said, "You used to say I'm crazy, and I'm saying you're crazy. How do you think we're going to get the money for that?" And he looks at me, he's like, "I don't know, you're pretty resourceful. I'm sure you could figure it out." Wrong thing to say. And I made one phone call to a friend at a foundation. And he says, "What do you need?" And I told him, because he loves Rhapsody in Blue, anything to celebrate Gershwin Rhapsody. And he says, "Okay," he's a trustee of Billy Rose Foundation. And he says, "I'll give you half now and half after January 1. I said, "But the recording will be over." He says, "Well, I can't help you with that." So Peter, I went back to, he says, "Oh my God, really?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "All right, I'll lay out half." I said, "Really?" He says, "Yep." "Am I going to get it back?" I said, "Yep." He did. The recording came out in February.
Wow.
This is just all, it's almost, the project became, I called it the Rhapsody National Initiative, because I ended up driving the car like it was a demo. Do you like the car? You like the way it feels? Handles well? I ended up in the back seat. And the project ended up driving me and Peter and all the orchestras. And I have to say that the conductors and the orchestras and the administrators have been so supportive, and we became a family. And we have now what we have listed as 69 orchestras. One, two, three. There'll be 72 soon,
Wow.
and we'll hopefully get to 75. I'd like to make it a 75. It's a
Yeah.
good number. We'll see. There's one state that has an issue, might not happen. So I've been fiendishly working on. I reached out to so many different universities and other orchestras in the state to make sure that we keep that integrity of 50 states. But even so, it's a 50 state project. We have 49, 50 to 49. Okay, whatever. It works. And that's the project in a nutshell. I probably answered other questions along the way.
That's
It's a
wonderful.
narrative of sorts, it's a story.
Yeah, I think what's the thing that's unique about it is that I know composers, contemporary composers, oftentimes they'll get the premiere and then they'll get one, two, three more performances. And what's been so unique about this one, you're already at, let's say 69, 70 performances of this piece. To have it to be performed so many times, I think that's a testament to you, your hustle, the quality of the piece. It's a fabulous piece. I've not done it before. Um, it's I think it shows your virtuosic side of the piano, but it also gives something for us to do in the orchestra. One of the pieces that I'm not a fan of the Chopin piano concertos because the piano gets so much to do. It's great, but we are just playing whole notes, footballs in the background. There's nothing for the orchestra to do, and it's still it's a masterpiece. Look, it's just not my preference, but this piece, this Rhapsody, it really gives us something it keeps us engaged as well. And that's fun. So it makes it fun to play, makes it fun for the audience. It showcases you and your virtuosity, but it also allows us to showcase our orchestra as well.
Absolutely. For me, there are two things in the piece that, aside from virtuosity, which I'm going to be 65, to me, virtuosity becomes less and less important. It's the way we connect our souls that becomes much more important to me to be remembered by in the future. And the central part of the piece, also in E major, like Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, that's the core of the piece. But there's a rhythm in the piece to me that unites us in a way that no words could say. And I mentioned this actually to Bob Moody in Memphis. He's like, yeah, it's this part toward in the final section that goes ba bum ba bum ba bum ba ba bum.
Mhm.
There's just this power, this historical power of being an American with everybody that came before us in that rhythm. And when I play that, it's like my hands on my heart looking up at that huge flag, that rhythm. But Peter did such a good job, and he takes everything from Gershwin to the present. And his slow theme is cinematic because, of
Yeah.
course, film came after Broadway songs from Gershwin. But the piece really, the purpose, I think the core of the piece of why I wanted to do it also was to, especially as it developed and evolved, was to bring people together
Well, I think
through.
that musical element you mentioned, rhythm, is a theme that goes throughout the concert. We're opening the program with Danzone number 9 by Marquez. And the one that's often done is Danzone number 2. That's the one that every orchestra does. But the number 9 came out in 2017, and it's rhythmic. It's rhythmic energy. It's a dance, Cuban dance, and then we've got Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony on the second half, which again, ballet is the found. You can certainly hear his ballet influence, his rhythmic influence. Beautiful melodies. Of course, he writes some of the gorgeous melodies. But if there's an element that sort of runs through it, it's certainly his the rhythmic elements and ostinatos that run through it that connect him to his ballet roots. So I think it's a good combination, and with the Denzone too, a Mexican composer. The United States is filled with people from all different cultures, and the first half is with living composers, Marquez and Peter Boyer, and then of course Tchaikovsky on the second half. So I think it's a good overview and and a good journey to things to talk about and to express to the community, not just from the stage, but how this program came about. And we've got some music that's new, and we've got some music that's old. And all music was once new, whether it's Tchaikovsky, whether it's Beethoven, whether it's Boyer, all music was once new.
Yes, I said that. So I said the same. They said, "Do you like doing new music?" I said, "Yeah, because it's going to be old like everything else."
Yeah.
And part of it is, for pianists, we've been very spoiled. And I would say 99% of the pianists today, we play Rachmaninoff concertos and Chopin sonatas and Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, Liszt, Mozart, Schubert, Schumann. I mean, lucky, beyond any other instrumentalist, I think. But when I was 12, I played a new piece for a living composer in New York. It was a sonata that my teacher then gave to me and arranged for me to play it for the composer. That was those were the seeds, I think, that were planted in order to take it somewhere else. And getting feedback from a living composer is incredible and really helps shape your performance. And over the years, I've worked, I mean, this is like project number 28, 9, 30. They're going into 28 now. And it makes the traditional repertoire feel better, play better, just everything. Because I don't look at Beethoven as though I have his bust on my piano. He's very much a living person when I play it. I feel as though he might as well have been a living American, European composer. And so it's a different hat. I can't speak for everybody. It's a different hat I wear. It becomes more alive than trying to, well, we've heard so many great performances of the Beethoven sonatas. I'm going to record 3 of them next month. And I want to do that. I've wanted to do it for many years. It's the right time. But it's a different feeling now, having worked with a lot of living composers. And it's, we can't predict a career or route or why or how. I think these things choose us somehow. I never changed. I don't believe in the word change. I think we just reveal ourselves. We don't change. And music evolves. And I just think that it's nice to be part of the evolution of music. We're spoiled by having great repertoire from Bach's time to the 20th century, but I felt it was important to have a lot of repertoire composed, at least in the first quarter of the 21st century, so that pianists will, I may never see it, but maybe in 50 years from now, pianists will go back and play Lucas Richmond's concerto and Ken Fuchs's concerto and Lowell Lieberman's third concerto, or whatever. There's so many pieces and more pieces for piano, orchestra, and chorus. And I think it was just part of my puzzle. It's part of my yellow brick road. I don't know. I've enjoyed it. It's a good ride. I let it take me. It's frustrating. You get a lot of frustrating times. A lot of doors closed, a lot of no's, a lot of being ignored. But show me anybody who's tried to do anything where that hasn't happened, and it's okay. That's normal. But it makes all the yeses so much more meaningful and happy. And this list can continue to grow right through 27, 28. It's a 5-year, 50-state project, and there's no way to play all of them in just a few years. And it's an open invitation for orchestras to say, we want to be part of this, so that in 50 years from now, people will open the conductor's score and they'll say, wow, look at what these people did during very tough times they lived through, pandemics and divisive times, and music came through. And I think that's nice for us. I think it's great.
We're in commencement season right now. So high school students and college students and graduate students are commencing forth into their next chapter of their lives. And I think one of the things that I just want to point out that about your career and about my career as well is that as artists, we have to be versatile. We have to be versatile. You need to play Boyer, you need to play Beethoven, you need to play Bach, you need to play Lucas, Foss, you need to play Bernstein. Um, Different styles. If you want to be a successful artist, regardless if it's music or dance or visual art, you have to be versatile in the types of music. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do everything. I mean, after a while, you kind of start to refine of what you want to do and what you're good at and what you enjoy. But I think initially you have to be versatile and in the types of and open-minded to the types of music. And so oftentimes, especially in the classical world, we there can be a reticence to new music. But new music adds to the palette, and audiences are surprisingly very open to new music. We love our Beethoven Symphony Number 5. We love our Brahms Symphony Number 1, and so on and so forth. But also to have some fresh ideas and some fresh approaches. And what you were saying too about working with a composer, there have been many times I've wanted to have a seance and ask Tchaikovsky, what were you thinking in this bar here? Debussy, what is it, an F sharp or an F natural that you wanted here at this spot? And one question I have for you, one more question I have for you. Has the piece you've done, let's say 70 performances of it, has the piece changed? Have there been revisions in that time? Or has it been pretty much this has been it for those since you started performing it?
I feel it's like an actor. You can play the same part over and over again. There are nuances. Don't forget, we change pianos every time we perform. I don't travel with my own. So it's a different piano. It's like a blind date every time. And different hall, different audience, different orchestra, different conductor, different everything. There's little twists and turns to the road that just make it a little different. It hasn't changed. I mean, I like to say it's marinated. And the longer you live with a piece, and sometimes if I have a break of a few weeks of not playing it is good. I like the break because you need the break, and you reboot your soul a little with a piece. You can't play the same piece constantly; it just sours after a while. It's like leaving the food out too long. You gotta put it away. but
But Peter Boyer didn't make any revisions to the piece since the premiere.
no,
Ah, good.
no. He actually has not.
Okay.
It's no errata. Just is that note right? Is that note right? And little things. Sometimes there are things I've found along the way, like, well, that happens 3 times. How about if we do the first one a little softer, then build to the forte the last one? And sometimes he's like, no, I like it all strong. Then you become the recreator. He's the creator, you're the recreator, and then you could, have a duel about that. But over playing it many times, you start to shape your feelings about, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I like that, but I'm playing it. The music is going to stay the way it is. However, that's what's nice about it. It's like Ellen Zwillick used to say to me, it's yours now.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, not really, but I understand what you mean. And I also hear different parts of the orchestration differently in each performance, because sometimes the way the orchestra sounds in that particular acoustic, oh, I could hear the horn better now. Oh, I didn't realize that they're playing those parts. It never was audible to me at the piano seat. And so sometimes I hear some counterpoint I'm not used to hearing, and it's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to this journey with you in October. It'll be October 3rd at the Tanger Center, 7:30 with the Greensboro Symphony Orchestra. You can certainly go to greensborosymphony.org and get tickets and find out about the amazing season that we have. This will be the opening of our season. And so it's a very special time for me to have the honor of opening the season. Maestro Dragon, Christopher Dragon, our music director, has planned a fantastic season, and you'll see lots of him throughout the season.
And I'll tell you, Christopher's amazing. We met 10 years ago for the premiere of the P.D.Q. Bach Concerto for Simply Grand Piano and Orchestra. He conducted the premiere at the Colorado Symphony, and we had a great time. He was so wonderful with that piece. And then when I brought this piece to him for Wyoming, he said, I don't know if I could do this because I'm leaving. But he was so gracious that he had the orchestra become a member of the project, and whomever would be the music director would do it. And I just did it with Jerry Ho last month. They were fabulous. So and now here again, he's not conducting it, and I'm grateful that you are, because I love your work. I love working with you. But he stretched out the arm to bring the orchestra into the project. He's really quite special that way. It's like, I'm not conducting, but I believe in it. And I really think that's a huge testament to somebody like him. It's really a beautiful gesture he made twice, twice.
And when I
So,
mentioned it, having
yeah,
this on the program, he's like,
I
yes,
really
immediately. He was like,
thank
yes.
you.
So he's doing great things with the Greensboro Symphony and in the community as well. This we'll
I love
both be
it.
starting
Yeah.
our third season with the orchestra. Me and my guest conducting position with the orchestra, and I think the audience and the community is just going to love this piece and love hearing you play. And I'm looking forward to this journey together
I
with you.
do too. I love the orchestra because this is 30th anniversary for us. I first played there with Stuart Molina.
Oh, no
He did
kidding!
well. I was
Wow.
supposed to do Rhapsody in Blue, and he called me and said, "So I was supposed to work with Paul Anthony McCrae or somebody. He
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. That's
former.
right.
We were supposed to do, and then we didn't. And Stuart became music director, and Lisa's been incredible. I mean, she's like family.
Great
And
to meet you.
Stuart said to me, "Well, Rhapsody in Blue is my piece. I really want to conduct it from the piano." I'm like, "I don't know you." I was like, "Really?" So he was like, "Let me do this, and you could play whatever you want next year." I said, "Rock 3." He says, "You're on." So we did Rachmaninoff 3, we did Tchaikovsky 1, we've done Prokofiev 3 together there, and Harrisburg. I mean, he's my brother from another mother, and we've done so many things together. And it'll be nice to be back with the orchestra, of course, again. And I've never played in this venue. So it's my first time at the Tanger.
Beautiful
I'm
venue.
looking forward to
And
it. Thank you for remembering the piece and for mentioning it and having Chris agree to it and worked it all out. I'm looking forward to doing this with you and the pair. I mean, it goes well together. I'm getting not that I'm getting tired of it. I think there are other ways to do this, Boyer. So the 75th anniversary of the Leroy Anderson Concerto is 2028. So 27, 28. I'm going to pair it with
oh,
that. And next year is the 50th anniversary of the Keith Emerson Concerto. Can you believe it's 50 years since Keith
wow.
did that? So there's a couple of important anniversaries, and they might pair nicely. So I'm just keeping avenues open of different combination platters. So
Always looking at the horizon
you
for
got to
sure.
always try different things, that work for the audience to keep them coming to concerts. That's a big
We're
deal.
looking forward to sharing this, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few months. Have a
Yeah,
great summer, and we
you
will
too.
see you in Greensboro, North Carolina. So everyone, please come out to hear the Greensboro
Yes.
Symphony, October 3rd, Tanger Center, 7:30. Get tickets. Tell your friends about what an incredible orchestra we have. We've got a great season. We're going to kick it off with this wonderful artist, Jeffrey
Well,
Biegel.
thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. See you all then.
You take care.
You too.